Hi, I'm Alec Gonzalez. Today we're going to be taking a little trip to Edinburgh Castle, which is located in Edinburgh, Scotland, in the UK. The construction of the castle began in the late 11th century on a rock known as Castle Rock. The castle was then finished by the 12th century and served as a royal residence, as storehouse, a headquarter to the sheriff, and as a prison. Although the construction of the castle was finished in the 12th century, modifications to the castle have still been going on till this day. The Edinburgh Castle has a Romanesque architecture. You can tell this by looking at its large towers, round arches, and its thick walls. In this picture, you can see that the Edinburgh Castle not only has one, but two very thick walls that surround it. In 1286, King Alexander III died, leaving the throne of Scotland empty. Edward I was appointed the Scottish crown, but used this opportunity to attempt to establish himself as the feudal overlord of Scotland. During the negotiations, Edward stayed briefly at the Edinburgh Castle and received homage there from the Scottish nobles. In March 1296, Edward I launched an invasion on Scotland, beginning the First War of Scottish Independence. The Edinburgh Castle soon came under control of the English. On March 14th of 1314, due to the weakened control over Scotland, Thomas Randolph recaptured the Edinburgh Castle. In 1333, Edward III of England invaded Scotland and began the Second War of Scottish Independence. The English forces reoccupied and refortified the Edinburgh Castle, holding it until 1341. The Scottish assault was led by William Douglas. Him and his men disguised themselves as merchants, bringing supplies to the garrison. Driving a cart into the entrance and preventing the gates from closing, more men rushed to join them and the castle was retaken, ending the back-and-forth capture of the Edinburgh Castle. One weapon from the medieval arsenal is the claymore. It is a two-handed longsword that is usually carried by itself because of its size. It comes from Scotland and was used during the First War of Scottish Independence. Another weapon used by medieval knights was the flail. The flail is a one- or two-handed weapon with one or more spiked metal heads attached to a wooden handle. One type of medieval knight armor was a shield. A shield would usually display your country's flag or your coat of arms. The shield was not only used for blocking, but you could also bash your opponent with your shield. Medieval knights' body armor was usually made by steel and/or leather. Sometimes the knights would want to have a lighter armor so they could move faster, so they would wear a chainmail armor. Although this armor allowed you to move faster, you were not as protected as with the other armor. This concludes our trip to the Edinburgh Castle and to the medieval knight armory.